Trump's cognitive decline, ignored by MSM, exposed here. While they obsess over Biden, Trump had a spectacular mental meltdown, inventing stage 9 cancer and struggling with basic sentences. We've got the full rant. Is this why the GOP is ramming through their disastrous bill at 1 a.m.? You decide. While the mainstream media keeps fixating, often in the most sensational and irresponsible way, on President Biden's age and health, they're completely ignoring something far more alarming. Donald Trump is visibly unraveling mentally right in front of us. Even as he tries to mock Biden's fitness, Trump himself is showing clear signs of cognitive decline. The difference? The press won't touch it. But here on Miles' Vexler Reaction, we're not going to ignore what's obvious. Today, Trump had one of his most spectacular mental meltdowns yet, struggling to form basic sentences during a wild rant aimed at Biden. It wasn't just a slip-up. It was another glaring reminder of how frequently these breakdowns happen. And still, mainstream outlets look the other way. We're going to dig into all of it and show you exactly what's going on. But before we jump into the details, take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe. If I could just take a quick moment to ask, please give this video a like. And if you haven't already subscribed, but you're enjoying the content here on Miles Vexler Reaction, hit that subscribe button. It genuinely helps more than you know, and I truly appreciate it. Now, Trump's press conference didn't kick off with his bizarre meltdown. That came later. It actually began with a question about his recent phone call with Vladimir Putin. So, before we dive into the chaotic rant that followed, let's rewind and take a look at how it all started.
Did you ask President Putin to meet with you?
About what?
About Ukraine.
Yeah, of course I did. I talked to him about it. I said, when are we going to end this, Vladimir? I've known him for a long time now. I said, when are we going to end this bloodshed, this bloodbath? It's a bloodbath. And I do believe he wants to end it. You know, when I made the call, I told the people last night, I spoke to the heads of the different countries, Germany and Finland. We had Italy, as you know, and UK was on the line today, and a couple of others. And then they were in turn calling everyone. Ursula was there from the European Union. She was terrific. And we spoke for a long time about it. And they got a problem. It's a big, big problem.
Trump was asked about his recent call with Vladimir Putin. And naturally, you'd expect it to involve the ongoing war in Ukraine. But when a reporter directly asked if they talked about it, Trump stumbled, mumbling, What would I be? Oh, the war? Yeah. Like, seriously? How do you not anticipate being questioned about that? What were they actually talking about then? Golf tips? A yacht gift from Putin to go along with Trump's flashy new plane? The whole thing is just absurd. His reaction wasn't just strange, it was downright embarrassing. It suggests that either nothing meaningful happened on that call, or Trump is too clueless to recall or admit what did. And when asked whether he applied any pressure on his favorite authoritarian, whether he stood tough like he always pretends to be, Mr. Strongman himself, what did he offer? Not much. Let's roll the clip and hear just how weak Trump really sounded when it came time to show that supposed strength. Spoiler, it wasn't pretty.
You previously on Truth Social implored President Putin to stop. You wrote Vladimir stop, and he didn't stop, quite the contrary. I'm curious, did you bring that up on your call with him today?
No, I didn't bring that up, but I did say it's time, you got to stop this thing. And I believe he wants to stop. Look, I would be, I think, very able to tell whether or not he wanted to or what. I thought there was a very good chance, like a 50-50 chance, that he would say, I want to take the whole thing. I didn't know what he was going to say. And then they have a different kind of a problem. But I believe he wants to stop. Pretty sure.
Oh, so you'll whine online. Vladimir, please stop. You're hurting my feelings. But when it comes to actually being the tough guy you love pretending to be, you can't even muster the courage to say anything real. Not to his face, not even over the phone. You can't tell him to stop the war he launched. That's not strength, that's weakness, and it shows. You're slipping, mentally and politically, and the signs are obvious. Meanwhile, The media keeps obsessing over Joe Biden's every move, spinning false narratives about his health, while ignoring the glaring warning signs coming from Trump. The very issues they're hyping about Biden, cognitive decline, verbal confusion, are on full display with Trump, and somehow they're pretending not to notice. And when Caitlin Collins asked about Biden's recent diagnosis, Trump's response wasn't just dodgy, it was a full-on 3-minute cognitive collapse. You need to watch every second of it to understand just how serious this really is.
To respond to President Biden being diagnosed with cancer, are you going to call your predecessor?
I think it's very sad, actually. I'm surprised that it wasn't, the public wasn't notified a long time ago, because to get to stage 9, that's a long time. I just had my physical. You saw that. You saw the results of that particular test. I think that test is standard to pretty much anybody getting a physical, good physical. We had the doctors at the White House and over at Walter Reed, which is a fantastic hospital. I did a very complete physical, including cognitive tests. I'm proud to announce I aced it. Got them all. I got them all right. You proud of me? Yes. Your husband would be proud of me for getting them all right. It's a little risk. If I didn't get them all right, these people would be after me. It would be not a good situation. But I think, frankly, anybody running for president should take a cognitive test. They say it's unconstitutional, but I would say in that particular case, having a cognitive test wouldn't be so bad. But when you take tests, medical, as a male, that test is very standard. I don't know if it's given to everybody, but it's given just about. And it takes a long time to get to that situation. Now, I think, to get to a stage 9, I think that if you take a look, it's the same doctor that said that Joe was cognitively fine. There was nothing wrong with him. Well, he said, if it's the same doctor, he said there was nothing wrong there, and that's being proven to be a sad situation. And the auto pen is becoming a very big deal. The auto pen is becoming a big deal because it seems like that maybe was the president who ever operated the auto pen. But when they say that was not good, they also, you have to look and you have to say that the test was not so good either. In other words, there are things going on that the public wasn't informed, and I think somebody's going to have to speak to his doctor, if it's the same, or even if it's two separate doctors. Why wasn't the cognitive ability, why wasn't that discussed? And I think the doctor said he's just fine, and it's turned out that's not so. It's very dangerous. Look, this is no longer politically correct. This is dangerous for our country. Look at the mess we're in. You're talking about all these questions on Ukraine and Russia that would have never happened. As an example, if I were president, would have never happened. The other thing is you have to say, why did it take so long? I mean, this takes a long time. It can take years to get to this level of danger. So it's a very, very sad situation, and I feel very badly about it. And I think people should try and find out what happened, because I'll tell you, I don't know if it had anything to do with the hospital. Walter Reed is really good. They're some of the best doctors I've ever seen. I don't even know if they were involved, but a doctor was involved in each case. Maybe it was the same doctor, and somebody is not telling the facts. That's a big problem.
Donald Trump repeatedly claimed, not once, but over and over, that Joe Biden has stage 9 cancer. Yes, stage 9, a condition that doesn't even exist. Either Trump genuinely doesn't understand the situation, despite it dominating headlines and being a frequent talking point of his, or he's such a pathological liar that he feels the need to invent new stages of cancer just to exaggerate the story. He doesn't just lie, he fabricates in the most reckless, absurd way imaginable. This kind of behavior is not just dishonest, it's deeply disturbing. And here's the unsettling part. Research shows that as cognitive decline worsens, the lying becomes more extreme, more absolute. It's not just the slurred speech or the garbled syntax, it's the dangerous extremity of the lies. Trump's rhetoric has become more detached from reality, and that's a serious red flag, especially for someone who still wants to hold absolute power, while the media continues obsessing over Biden's health when really they should be wishing him and his family well. The real concern should be elsewhere, specifically on a Republican bill currently being pushed through Congress, a bill that's as extreme as Trump's rhetoric. Congressman Jim McGovern sounded the alarm on this very issue, and we're going to show you exactly why more people should be paying attention to it right now.
What I do want to talk about is the fact that this morning, after midnight actually, Republicans told us that we would be considering their budget reconciliation bill at 1 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. If Trump's big, beautiful bill is so great, why not debate it when people are still awake? Wouldn't you want everyone to know how great it is? Why are you debating it at 1 o'clock in the morning? I think that's prime time in Guam. Any person with half a brain cell can immediately figure out why you want to notice a meeting for 1 a.m. It's because you don't want people to know what's in your bill. Remember what Trump said? Close your eyes and vote for it. That's exactly what you're all doing, because you all know exactly what the bill does, how unpopular it is, and what regular Americans think of it. It's going to give a huge, massive, historic tax cut to billionaires, paid for by stealing from the American people, ripping away Medicaid from parents and grandparents, ripping away food assistance from kids. This is not hyperbole, my friends. We're not fear-mongering. No matter how many times you use the word, that doesn't make it true. Your big, beautiful scam is a historic giveaway to those at the very, very top, financed and paid for by the rest of America. So again, I ask, if this bill is so great, why debate it at 1 o'clock in the morning? And we all know the answer, and we all know why. And the icing on the cake, and we're not even sure what's in that bill. You have a meeting on at 1 o'clock in the morning. We have a meeting on the calendar, and you're still arguing amongst yourselves behind closed doors about how much you want to basically screw over people on Medicaid.
Thank you. And wow, this is exactly why we appreciate Jim McGovern so much here on Miles Vexler Reaction. He always knows where to direct the outrage, and this time, it's right at the heart of a massive, disastrous Republican bill. They're calling it big and beautiful, but what exactly is beautiful about piling another $4 trillion onto the deficit? Let's be real. This bill slashes Medicaid, stripping health insurance from at least 13.7 million Americans. And here's the kicker. Some Republicans are claiming the cuts aren't deep enough. That's right. The delays in pushing it forward, it's not because it's too extreme. It's because they don't think it's cruel enough. And then there's 2 dolls and 1 pencil guy who isn't just trying to ruin your holiday. He's out here threatening your actual survival in the richest country on earth. It's revolting. This administration isn't just morally bankrupt, it's actively dangerous. And with Donald Trump clearly spiraling mentally, it all adds up to a toxic mix. I'm furious, and I know I'm not alone. Thankfully, more Democrats are stepping up, like Hakeem Jeffries, who absolutely nailed it in the call-out you're about to see next.
Millions of people in this country are struggling to live paycheck to paycheck. Can't afford housing, can't afford groceries, can't afford to pay their utility bills, can't afford child care, can't afford insurance. And Donald Trump is publicly defending accepting a $400 million flying palace from a close ally of Iran and Hamas? I mean, you can't make this stuff up, which is why even some of his closest MAGA sycophants have made clear this is a plane too far for them. Too far for them.
I need us to raise the temperature here, seriously. Am I the only one this fired up? The mainstream media just doesn't get it. They're too busy trying to play games with Trump's attention, pulling him in every direction except the one that matters. This monstrous bill. It's a disaster. Not only does it break every promise Trump made on the campaign trail, lowering costs, making life easier, but it does the exact opposite. This bill isn't just dishonest. It's a betrayal of anything resembling conservative fiscal policy. It's not budget conscious. It's a wrecking ball. And somehow, they want us looking anywhere but here. Well, not on Miles Vexler Reaction. We're keeping our eyes on what really matters. And if you're with us, if you care about truth and accountability, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, And if you've stayed with us all the way through, drop a blue heart in the comments. Until next time, I'll see you.